Hey, taste the biscuit. How's it going? Happy New Year 2023, Year of the Rabbit. If you are new here, this is Please Don't Kick Me Out, the only inclusive podcast about imposter syndrome. We help make you feel less alone ever since the pandemic. And I normally don't use video, and this is an audio medium. So if you're listening without without video component, this will make no sense to you. So my guest in my weird non-niche TikTok needs no introduction, but to everyone else who has no idea what I'm talking about, my guest today is an awesome person, Vincent Gargiulo. And he is the reason that the Chrome Lady will not leave your TikTok feed if you're on TikTok. So without further ado, here he is. Yes.
Hi.
Hi.
I have one correction,
Oh, wait.
and it's not your fault. Everybody does it wrong, but
Was
it's
it Gargiulo?
no, Gargiulo.
Gargiulo. Oh, okay. Wait. Where are we doing this again?
Should we do it again?
Yeah. Okay, sorry. Gargiulo, right?
Yes.
Okay. The reason why I added an I is because everyone, when I was growing up, my last name was Cadloni, and everyone would say Caldoni. So I just did that. Yeah. Okay. Gargiulo.
Okay.
Okay,
We don't have to do it again, though. Just keep it rolling.
Yeah, we'll keep rolling. Well, yeah, exactly. I make mistakes, and I also don't have a team to edit. So if you want to be on my podcast team, shoot me an email, pdkmopodcast@gmail.com. If I sound a little raspy, my friends, it is because I was in Wilton Manors, Florida last weekend, where the volume is as loud as a speaker megaphone in your ear, and everyone's screaming, "Yes, Queen!" And coming from an island, that was very overwhelming for a whole weekend. But I'm here and I'm excited, and I'm glad I have this interview because this is something very near and dear to my heart, because I was in a very depressive state when the Chrome Lady Biscuit talk found me. And I think it's been pretty cool that it's been rocking and rolling. So Vince, how about you just introduce yourself to those who may not know who you are and what you do?
My name is Vincent Gargiulo, as we learned in the opening. I am a filmmaker. I'm a musician. I like animals and long walks on the beach, like the Chrome Lady, and I think that sums me up. But yes, my most famous thing, I guess now, is a little thing called Taste the Biscuit, featuring the fictional Toasters and Moose. It's a little thing I made in 2010.
Yeah.
And it's had little spurts of virality over the years, but this has been the biggest one. So I'm looking forward to the next one.
So question for you.
Yeah.
Right off the bat, did you put it on there or did someone else do it?
Put it on TikTok?
Mm-hmm.
No, I have no traction. Nobody, when I post my videos, nobody cares, but when other people post them, then it's a big deal.
Yeah.
So yeah, some guy named XX Dogface posted it. And so the majority of clips and the remixes and all reposts and all that, it's all using XX Dogface sound.
Yeah.
So when I found out about it, then I tried to put it on, but some people made the move, but not many.
Yeah, and if you're super in the Biscuit lore, it popped up around, it got, extremely popular around September. And for me, it blew Corn Kid out of my feed. It was like, see ya, Tariq. It's a lump with knobs. We've got it, okay? Hey, I don't know about you, Bianca, but you have no niche in your TikTok. How about this thing that's going to just bombard you for the rest of your life? And I was like, sure. And here we are. But it's interesting how trends work, because I've been in digital marketing since graduating college in 2010. And I've kind of watched the way that trends work. And I'm going to be honest, I don't understand TikTok. I never had any traction either, ever. And then all of a sudden this thing happened, and now I have I was sending out Christmas ornaments to people. We were doing care packages. We were in this Discord. I didn't even know what Discord was. I'm 34 this year, and I'm on the internet machine, and I'm good at it, sort of. But at the same time, I'm like, I feel old. I know I'm not that old, but I feel like sometimes the internet's going really fast without me. But the cool thing for me personally, and I know this is a thread to be true for many of the clan, was a lot of us didn't really know where our people were, or where's the people that would just laugh at this or think it's so silly or funny or whatever. The amount of remixes, the amount of community, the amount of engagement I get, even if it's just from the same, I don't even know how many people at this point, it's amazing. And it's funny because people will still be like, oh, the biscuit found me again, now it's back in, and they keep reposting it. So I'm sure that's really annoying for you, but also pretty cool.
Yeah, I enjoy all that. It doesn't, I don't understand any of it, but
There's
I
nothing to
do enjoy
understand.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's probably why. But yeah, I mean, obviously, there's no, these things aren't like sponsored by anybody. There's nobody giving me money to make these things yet.
Right.
So these things just came from my heart, and it's nice to see that people enjoy it.
Yeah, I sorry, but like I personally, once I figured out who you were and kind of went into some stuff you've done, you remind me of my brother-in-law so much, who lives in LA. You're like this, like the Northern California version of him, but he's from San Francisco. My brother-in-law Mike. You just have the same humor, like the same deadpan kind of interestingly odd, kind of taking a thread and going with the humor. That so I really connected with it because that's just kind of things I find funny. I mean, I grew up with the internet as it was aging and going, and so the things I remember from the early internet days, when the bandwidth, I was like, whoa, we're really surfing now on this interwebs.
Right.
Even so far as like my college days, because I was in college from 2007 to 2010. It's so wildly different than how people younger than me use media now and consume media. And so it's kind of cool to see people who grew up with the internet and using the internet from its adaptation of dial-up to where we're at now, really hold on to those things that bring them nostalgia. So I think it's cool that your thing is now one of those things.
Yeah, I was thinking about that it is internet nostalgia now in a way. Yeah, it was a totally different world on the internet. And when I first posted that, the reason it got traction in the first place is I put it on YouTube, and then there was this site called BuzzFeed.
Oh God, old.
It still exists, but it's different now. In its early origins, it was kind of like a Reddit type site, and I put it on BuzzFeed, and it actually got promoted to like their front page, and then sort of took off from there. But then it was stolen, as always, off my YouTube and put on World Star Hip Hop. World Star? And and it was on the front page of World Star Hip Hop. And that's it had like 1 million views in like a day on World Star Hip Hop. None of that moved over to the YouTube page.
Yeah.
But that's where like George Lopez found out about it, and other people, and he used it on his show. And
excuse me.
Then I got a nice little retreat for 10 years, and then now it's back.
But I like the way you came back with it. So you kind of touched on it. We'll finish up the lore for people who are like, oh my God, this Chrome lady. I'm just gonna preface by saying TikTok makes zero sense at all. And if you start to pull on the thread of this, all you need to know is the backstory is it was on YouTube. It was a film, just kind of cult indie film, really, that was created. It's really funny if you like that kind of humor. My husband did not understand it. He's like, and you're wearing these people on your shirt, and you're sending cameos to people for Christmas. Like, what's happening? And I was like, look, you don't get it because you don't get it, and that's fine because you don't. No, I mean, he just discovered corn talk because he's not on TikTok, and he'll be like, it's corn. I'm like, all right, when we get to biscuit talk, I don't know where I'll be on the internet, but I probably in a very unhinged place, and I probably need a grippy sock vacation, to be honest. But yeah, so that's really the lore, and like, so as he's explained. But the cool thing is, probably the coolest thing, at least the coolest thing I've personally from being part of it have found is like just the way it's made people feel, and especially in my age bracket, but how it's connected people, where I was like, oh, I used to live in Denver. We used to go to the same bars. We used to go to the same parties. We know the same people. How do we never meet? Like my friend Justin, who he was the one who was like, they're on Rolling Stone. Oh my gosh. So it's really cool. It made me really fall back in love with the internet again. And it's one of the reasons I began podcasting again, because I took a complete hiatus in 2020, half of 2021 to 2022. And I picked it back up, and I like where I'm going with it. And I can thank the Biscuit for that, for kind of really encouraging me to get back out there and do what I love. So thank you, Biscuits. I don't know, are we Biscuit cult? Biscuit, whatever, Biscuit heads. Thanks. So yeah, but this podcast is about imposter syndrome, which is doubting one's success, feeling like a fraud. It really, it's just kind of this self-defeating feeling that we all feel at some point in time. So I'm going to start with the first question, which is always usually the same answer. Do you feel like you have it all figured out?
Yes.
Bye-bye. Recording closed.
You gotta risk it to taste the biscuit.
Yeah. I gotta be honest, sometimes it's so overwhelming to log in because there's so many biscuits that want you to repost stuff, and I'm like, I got my own stuff, but I love you guys. I'll like it. Yeah.
Nobody has it all figured out.
Right.
I mean,
right.
what is the all, you know?
Yeah. I guess life. I don't know.
I mean, that's the joy of life, that for me anyways, that you don't figure it out, that you spend your whole time doing things and then figuring out what, oh, that was a good thing that I did, or a bad thing, or
yeah.
And then you're dead, and it doesn't matter.
Oh, and then you died, and hopefully it was good. Yeah. Oh, I like that answer, because I truly, as the pandemic has shaped out, this is a product from the pandemic, because I got laid off. I was a marketing director, and then I had nothing to do but time on my hands, and I was very bored. And I started this podcast because I'd always wanted to be on podcasts, but the cheat is, if you want to be on podcasts, you kind of have to have a podcast. Right. So I started this. It kind of came out of this kind of notion of, okay, but like, what am I going to do next in life? And then I felt really guilty that I didn't know, because my partner's in the military. He's been in for almost 20 years. We're going to be able to retire. He's in the Navy. We know where our next step after the Navy is, but as far as that, like, his life isn't really starting until that goes away, if that makes sense. Like, that's a huge chunk of someone's life, like from 18 all the way until practically 40 years old. And then it's like, well, now what do I do with my life? And so I just podcast while I bide my time, because it's incredibly hard to find a job in Hawaii. And also, we're not going to be here much longer, but this is what I do. And I make one penny an episode. I'm just kidding. I don't know. But that's, I think, something that I hope for my younger listeners, for all of these guests I've had from all walks of life, whether it be entertainment, or I can't think of other job titles right now, but whatever you're doing as a profession, the stories I like to share are the ones that are like, I started out, I went to college for this, or I didn't go to college, I fell into this, and then I did this, and then now I'm here. I think those are a much more beautiful story, because they're more realistic, because it's really not normal to have it all figured out.
Yeah. I mean, what I'm currently going through, so I am supposedly, I'm famous. This is what I'm told. But I'm not really. Like, I haven't really made any kind of significant money or anything from Taste the Biscuit, or any of my creative works. and I have a day job that is completely unrelated to film and music. And this is the building that you see behind me. Uh, and that's how I eat for the most
Hmm.
part. And so now I'm going through, okay, well, I've just had a little bit of success here. What
Hmm.
do I do? How do I capitalize on this? Am I supposed to just leave this job and move on to this feature film that I have in the works? Do I just, I mean, I have some money saved up for it. Do I just go for it,
Right.
or do I
Right.
play it safe? I mean, I'm a little
Well,
old. I'm a little
yeah.
older. I'm 40, and your priorities change when you're that age, and
Yeah.
you don't like to struggle much. And
Right.
so it's like, yeah, I could just give up everything and go head on with this creative stuff more. But then I'm kind of reverting back to an older version of myself that had a little bit more energy and had a little bit more spunk. But
Yeah.
so these are the things that I currently think of
Hmm.
right now. Like, how do I build on this little success that I've had recently?
Well, that's why I was like almost gonna, I was telling you, I was like, I'm waiting on the Honolulu police to call me back. And then I was like, wait, I need to do this interview. Come on, we got to strike while the iron's hot.
Yeah.
I can empathize 1000% with you because I have this podcast, right? And I make a joke. I'm Schmedium Schmamus and I make Schmedium views and Schmedium engagement. Like, yes, I have the amount of followers that I have. Yes, I have the amount of listeners that I have. Yes, I have like the merchandise and the website and all of that. And I'm incredible at networking. That's my thing. It's maybe an ADHD neurodivergent trait, but I'm a people person, and that personality translates to turns into the weirdest crap. Like one time, Demi Lovato was my Lyft driver. Another time, Drew Barrymore gave me $500. I've
Mhm.
done production assistants for Kitchen Nightmares. Like I've done it all because I graduated college in the Great Recession, so to speak, the first one, where there wasn't a lot of jobs, and you interned and you kind of did a lot of things. And marketing has always in my back pocket. Like I know marketing is, I mean, everyone markets, like even if you don't think you're marketing something, you are. The issue is that it's marketing ourselves that's like always really hard. So yes, you have this iron, it's hot, you have that notoriety, and you're good at what you do. But I'm gonna level with you. If you leave
Yes.
now, I don't think the biscuits can fund you.
Yes.
We are small, but we are nimble. But no, we were going to follow your project, and so it's almost like you have this cushion of fans that are going to eat up whatever you're doing, and they're going to like whatever you're working on. The question is how much time and investment do you want to put into it now versus later? And especially with you're in Northern California where it's incredibly expensive uh, to live
You telling
there.
me?
I mean, I own a home.
Yes.
I own a home in San
Yes.
Diego,
Okay.
and it's not even a flex. It's just the military. But we're trying to get back there. So, but that's besides the point. I mean, but that doesn't mean that I'm successful because I own a house. I mean, I barely put pants on today. So,
We can't
but
tell.
it's a waste up moment. That's why I tell people I never use video. You'll
Yep.
never know. Is she naked on the internet? Are they naked? I'll never tell you.
I
Um,
am.
I was hoping you'd say so because I was
I'm
really
admitting.
worried you'd miss the note on the pantsless party. But
I give
no.
what Biscuit talk wants.
I don't know. It's tough to say because you are in a climate where it's incredibly tech focused, and I don't want to make any assumptions. And obviously, you don't have to say what you do as your regular person job, and your on biscuit job. But it's got
I
to
do
be.
not work for tech.
You don't. Oh, okay. What
I
industry
don't.
are we in?
What's
Hmm.
that?
What industry are you in then?
I will admit my day job. I am an office manager, a,
Oh, I would be at your desk the whole time.
a facilities manager
That's cool.
of a book publisher.
That's cool. That's actually really
So
cool. That's actually really cool because
something
yeah.
it's not something that I really tried out for necessarily. I just found myself here, and it works.
Yeah. I'm sure you get a lot
I
of creative ideas doing it too. Like,
a little bit, and I'm able to take an hour off of work to do podcasts. So
oh
in
boy.
their in conference room C. So there's perks.
I mean, yeah. So you're in are you in San Francisco?
I work in San Francisco. I
Yeah.
live in the island community of Alameda.
My parents are actually from Northern California. My dad went to UC Davis because he got UC Davis and Berkeley, and my grandpa was like, can't go to Berkeley. So my dad went to Davis, and then he was an engineer. And I never got to live in California. My cousins all did. They're from like the Napa Valley area mostly, and I haven't been back up to Northern California. I was gonna go finally do the adult trip of all of that, and I just kind of stick around Southern California. Do you make it down there very often? Wow, sticky shoes.
Every couple of years, or not every couple of years, every couple times a year.
Yeah,
I film down there once in a while, and I go there for leisure. I love the desert, and I
yeah.
love the coast, especially the Central Coast and all that too. Um, so yeah, I'm down there. San Francisco has gotten harder to film in,
Mhm.
mostly because the resources just aren't here. Uh, most of the people that I used to work with, my collaborators, they've moved on to places where they can afford to live better lives, and
And I'm
and
still here.
there's less there's just less resources, like when you're looking for locations or crew or whatever it is. And I'm only here, well, these are questions I need to think about, but I'm here because I've gotten lucky on rent, basically.
Oh my gosh, you're the Carrie
So
Bradshaw.
yeah, so I think that's why I'm still here. I was gonna move to LA back in 2013. Maybe I should have, but I didn't. I was evicted from my San Francisco house through some bullshit. Can I say bullshit?
Oh god. No, yeah, you can. I don't
Okay.
care. You
Okay.
can say fuck if you
Uh,
want.
uh, I'll save it. I want to save my fuck for a special sentence. Um, but I was evicted and I needed a place quick. And I found a place in Oakland, and I just ended up in Oakland, and my rent was like $400.
No
And
way.
well, I
Wow.
had a room which was smaller than conference room C, but I could bring my cat, and I had this tiny little room, and the money that I was making, which wasn't much, I've always had another day job, I could put to art. So I'm still paying cheap rent in Alameda now. And that's the only reason I'm here.
Yeah.
Basically, it's affordable and I'm comfortable, and everyone I know is here.
Yeah.
So,
I
yeah.
guess this is just a sidebar thought. Because everyone's kind of been shifting and things have been going, it's not so like top in like Northern and Southern California, and things are more like, oh, it's LA or Atlanta for some reason, or wherever those hubs might be. Um, has the city felt less alive during the pandemic, or has it felt the same, or what's this city feel now?
Um, well, I don't get out into the city that often, but everything is different. It's not the hustle and bustle that it was. Um, I I work in sort of I wouldn't call it the financial district, it's more Soma area, but I see it, and the businesses are closed most of the week. It's
Yeah,
not anywhere where it was 3 years ago,
yeah.
and it's not coming back.
No, no. Well, I mean, I know a
And
lot about it, obviously, being from or
yeah,
being in California. Yeah, but I'm not from California. Well,
uh,
yeah,
so it's been more pleasurable to be in San Francisco
yeah,
now. But
Yeah.
you know, these things I've been tied. I'm waiting for the artist. I'm waiting for everything to get so cheap in San Francisco, the artist can come back.
That would be so cool because so as a kid growing
I'll
up,
be dead when that happens,
you
but
won't be
it'll
dead.
happen
No, no,
eventually.
no, because somehow Biscuit's gonna find a way to like cryo freeze you or something.
Biscuit's gonna kill me. Some fan's
No.
gonna find me and say you're the guy and stab me as he sings the song.
Oh God. I just imagine if you shall perish one day and what if I don't even know. I have so many things I would think, but I your unpopular opinion, which we'll get to in the future. I think it'd be really funny if you just banned that song only. All your other songs get to be played and people are like, play Biscuit, because I'm picturing a huge crowd,
Mhm.
a sea of people. By this point, you've ruled the world with the
It's
Crumb
like
Lady.
it's like when John Lennon was killed. Everybody's holding their lighters, singing "Imagine,"
Yeah,
except
yeah.
it's "Don't put that honey sauce on me. I don't like the way it tastes on my chicken wings."
So when it first got popular, and I did my I did my hyper focus ADHD. I learned everything there was to know about it. Watched Chickens in the Shadows, saw everything, put it all together in a little box in my head, and I got it. And then I would start seeing people like post the wrong lyrics. I'm like, no, 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 not on the chicken wing. Do you not understand? Doesn't like it on that. Biscuit only.
Well, I mean,
Sometimes.
to be fair, Estelle, aka Toasters, sometimes switches the lyrics. So they could be singing a rare cut version that she made a mistake on.
Yeah.
So you
Well,
never know.
before we go to the next one about imposter syndrome, I do have to say that the Christmas Biscuit, I did purchase the album. I'm a person that if I like something, like this shirt is a real, if you're not listening, or sorry, if you're not watching, it's Tom Shaw and Toasters and Moose from the fictional band Toasters and Moose. And I believe I might have been the first one to get this shirt and at least put it on TikTok. But I ordered that so fast. What money?
We
None. But I ordered it
we
fast.
made it. We made it for people like you.
Did anyone order the
People,
blanket?
yeah, quite a few people.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
Sales have died down after Christmas, but people were stocking up on their toasters and moose blankets before Christmas.
Yeah, I don't need one. I do sell a fleece blanket from at pleasedon'tkickmeout.com/shop if you really want one. Live your 90s fantasy. Thank you to Laura Russo, my dedicated freelance babe who's done everything for my podcast. I love her. But yeah, no, I live in I have to turn down my AC, which is a privilege, to be able to be cold enough to do that. But
Right.
I'm hoping for some weather again at some point. But I was born in Minnesota, so I grew up I grew up wanting what my cousins had. I'm like, damn, they get to go trick or treating without snow pants on. What a life! And then I moved to San Diego, and after 2 years of living in San Diego, I remember there was a day that it was just barely cold enough, but I was by myself. My husband was my spouse was deployed. And I went over to my thermostat and I went, ooh, it's chilly. And then I looked at my watch and I was like, 55 degrees. Everything in my body says don't do it. And I flipped it on and I was like, I hate myself. Like, because I had that breeze come through from where I live, is in a national city. Anyway, I'm off tangent completely because I am out of my mind. So let's talk about imposter syndrome. So when I first came to you about this, you were like, I don't know, maybe I have it, maybe I don't. And if you've been a long time listener of my podcast, you know that everyone has a different definition because it means something different to everyone. I like it when someone has confidence in who they are and what they do and the product that they put out. I love it when someone has confidence in authenticity with themselves, like myself and like Vince. So I'm just going to ask the question. It's a mouthful. Do you feel like you fit in or suffer from imposter syndrome? And what ways? And what does imposter syndrome mean to you? And how does it impact your life? as
Well,
well.
I'm afraid somebody is going to eventually find out that I'm not human, and
Shoot.
I am just a weasel pretending to be human. Um, that'll eventually come out.
Oh, okay. 'Cause I heard that's yeah, yeah. It's a rumor.
Yeah, I don't I looked up the definition. I don't think I could be classified as having it because I feel proud and deserving of everything that I do. So there is that aspect. If anything, I feel more like an imposter, like at this said day job
That makes sense.
where,
Yeah.
where I don't even bring up my other stuff. Like I would say half of my coworkers don't know anything about what I do. And they
That's
don't know about
funny.
Taste the Biscuit or that I'm in Rolling Stone or anything like that. And so I feel like an imposter here sometimes, and I don't feel like I'm really living up to my full potential sometimes. But yeah, I mean, I don't know if anybody really knows who they are unless there's some kind of psychopath.
Yeah.
But so I don't know. Did that answer sort of the question?
Just hearing your voice and how funny, like
Did you fall asleep while I was talking?
no,
Or
but I think you should record audiobooks. It would really calm someone down. You'd be like, hey, well, I'm not
I
gonna
think
live
there's
with
a
you.
copy of Goodnight Moon somewhere here. I can
I appreciate that answer because I think when there's a part of you that you want to express and you want to do fully, you're gonna feel like an imposter when you have to do something that you don't love, like my husband, who hates the military and isn't it.
right.
He's nothing about him. If you met him, you'd be like, really? And someone made you, and then you got, and then you did lead in your leadership. Because he's
Yeah.
a goofball. He's the funniest person I know. I'm not really allowed to share all of the funny things because he's a very private person. But if you get to know me and you're a close friend of mine and you get to know my husband, he's probably the funniest person I've ever met. I have no idea what he's going to do when he gets out at all. I don't care. If he told me, babe, I want to start making shoes that are shaped like, I don't know, who a shape that
Like
makes no sense,
shoes?
like shoes, but like they're not, and they're made of this. I'd be like, that is totally fine. You do you. I support you. But that's just because, yeah, he's been the same with me. He was like, well, you don't love marketing. You don't love having to be told that, like, no, because I want the logo over here. And
Who loves marketing?
no one.
Nobody.
Well, Hawaii, actually, the reason why I liked your stuff, the way you were doing it so much, I liked it because it reminded me of Hawaii a lot because there's no billboards out here. And everything's kind of like backwards, as if like they're like, oh yeah, local marketing, brah. And you'll watch
Yeah.
commercials and it's just like it's just another planet. The radio, another planet. TV out here, another planet. Like what comes on the news out here is so wildly and vastly different than the mainland that I have had a really stress-free life for the last 2
Yeah.
years. I haven't had, like, if it gets to me all the way in Hawaii, like something's really wrong. But it's also on the flippy flop really funny because of that, when something happens here, it gets back to the mainland and I didn't hear about it. Like one time, a guy like stabbed or cut off a finger of another guy in Waikiki and at a 7-Eleven over at Mitsubi and the little Sam things. And I didn't hear about it, but everyone on the mainland was like, oh my God, are you okay? Do you have all your fingers? And I'm like, yeah. Or if there's like a miniature tsunami warning or whatever, they'll be like,
All right.
oh, big wave, are you okay? Or when, oh gosh, and the volcanoes are erupting on the Big Island, which is also, funnily enough, in the Strand, called Hawaii. And
Right.
if you don't know that, it's fine. You learn a lot when you live here. You learn a lot, and there's a lot of pain and stuff from the native lands, but you just go with it. Aloha. You just don't be an asshole, and they won't be an asshole back to you, and you don't touch a turtle. But when they started
Oh my
erupting.
God. I have a Hawaii
Yes.
turtle story.
Yes. Let's do it.
So I've only been to Hawaii once, the big
Uh-oh.
island.
Yeah.
And I was uh my partner and I were in the water where we were supposed to be,
Mm-hmm.
off of Hilo,
Uh-huh.
and there were some turtles,
Mm-hmm.
and they were swimming around. I didn't really interact with them, but they were
Yeah.
there. And one kind of came up close to me, and I was like, okay, all right, let's
Oh
chill.
no.
Let's chill.
Yeah.
And uh and then and then I was like, okay, well, the turtles are friendly. And so I wasn't afraid of the turtles. And so then later, another turtle comes up towards me, and I'm like, oh, he's just gonna go past me again. He he did not.
Oh no.
He went, his mouth went right for my
Uh-oh.
penis. And I was like,
Oh
I'm
no.
out. And
You're
I
like,
made it
yeah.
out of there. But there was a turtle who got very close to me and went, ah. And
You almost did not have a private part area anymore. You were almost a Barbie Ken doll.
yeah. And I've hated turtles ever since.
So,
So
yeah, I can touch on that. The reason why, if my listeners, I have avoided talking about Hawaii because I have not felt like I've been in an educated space, but on my way out, when I respectfully leave the island, aloha, mahalo for being here, I guess. Uh, the turtles out here are massive. Like they're huge.
yes, it
And
was big.
they're very big and they're called Hanu and they're very sacred and they're almost, but you can feed them. Like if you go to where 51st Dates was filmed at Sea Life Park, where Adam Sandler used to work in that movie, if you're familiar, it's on Waimanalo, which is on the windward side, if anyone's wondering. You can take the tour at Kulo Ranch. That's my only plug for them. It's a really cool place to go. You can buy a little, like, you can actually buy a thing and you can feed the turtles. And I would say that that's probably the best interaction you're going to get in Hawaii, because if a local sees you touch a turtle, they lose their mind. They will, I mean, they might murder you. I don't know. I don't know how Hawaii rules work, because I've never tried it, because I'm actually terrified of the ocean. I like to play mermaids, which means I don't go further than when I cannot see my feet. But that's just a product of being in a landlocked state for like most of my life. But so you're afraid of turtles. That's interesting.
I'm not afraid of them. I hate them.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So
Now
like,
I hate
yeah,
them.
yeah.
I didn't just to clarify, I never touched the turtle.
Oh, I wasn't
just
saying you were.
I was just in the water where lots of people were in the water with the turtles, but this turtle thought it saw a fish in my shorts and
You
tried to go
almost.
for it.
What year was this?
The February 2020. So right before
Oh.
everything shut down.
I was gonna make if it was in the right time frame, and it is, you almost had a Me Too moment with a turtle.
Wait, I was Me Too'd. I'm the victim.
Yeah, you're the victim. Turtles out in Hawaii, they
Yes.
are not asking for your consent, and that's why you shouldn't touch them.
Exactly.
Okay.
The Louis C.K. of turtles. I met it.
Oh man, I really wish I had not blown my voice out screaming yes at drag queens, because I love everything queer. And I was in Manners, Florida this last weekend, but I'm glad that I did this interview, because that right there made me laugh. So imposter syndrome, I like your answer for it. We're gonna move on to success. And what does success look like to you, and do you feel successful?
Um, I mean, I think the ultimate goal for most artists, and I'm pretentious enough to call myself that.
You are an artist. You can say
Okay.
that.
All right. I think is to make a living doing just your art.
Mhm.
So I I've come to terms several times in my head on whether I can feel successful if that never happens, if I always have to have another job or something to supplement that work. But I mean, it's all about perspective. So I mean, there are other filmmakers and musicians who would kill for the success that I have had.
Right, right.
And to me, it's like, well, that's cool. So it's like, it's all about perspective. And so I am thankful for any kind of success that I have had. Fame is cool. Not that I'm that famous, but it's fun. It's nice to be known and recognized and asked to be on podcasts. But money's better. So
Yeah.
so like I'm certainly not from a wealthy background, so it's all been acquired wealth, middle class wealth. So I mean, I'm successful in a baseline, happy, contented way. I think I could
Yeah.
be more.
Yeah. I think for me and my spouse, my husband and I have been married for 6 years. Oh God, that's a long time in my life. I'm like, wow, that's a long time. 6 years. And I met him halfway through his military career. And it's always been like, what's next? And now we're like at the end, and we're like, what do we do? I mean, we can do whatever we want, I guess, but what do we do? And his thing has always been just like you want to be able to feel supported financially as well as, I guess, spiritually, doing like what you want every day, living and breathing it. My thing is I can never claim success with this podcast. Yes, I have had lots of really cool guests on this podcast. Yes, I have. The coolest one of 2023 so far until Tom Shaw. I'm just kidding.
Only one.
There's only one. He'll be the number one of my Rolling Stone Please Don't Kick Me Out list. I don't.
Tom Shaw's boring. He's got no stories. I made his whole life. I have all his stories.
You really did. And then like I just imagine like you're doing his eulogy. Oh, poor Tom. Rest in peace. You're doing his eulogy and you're like, Tom was only something because of me and Los Baños.
Yes.
Which I mean, fair. I agree. So before we go into my favorite part of this episode, I did throw on TikTok a little flyby, if you will, question and answer session. And as to be, oh, no, we don't want to hear you. No. I'm 1,000. We have one question, and it's not a question, it's just a bunch of emojis. All right, Biscuit Clan, you really sold yourself there. But if there are questions that you do have on this podcast, after we've recorded, I do have the option through Anchor that was run through Spotify to ask those questions in a poll. So if you have any more questions, I can ask Vince. I'm sure he'll be listening to this podcast as you guys will as well. And as we put the clips on TikTok, which is something that is going to really stretch my noodle because I got to figure out how to do it because I'm 1,000. Let us know. But if you do have burning questions, you can find him, but he's really famous. So we got to really dig deep there. Same with me. So famous. In fact, so famous, I flew in economy.
It may take at least several minutes for me to respond.
At least 5, maybe 6. But anyway, this is my favorite part of the episode because I feel like we can talk about our day jobs all day, but what really makes people is what makes them tick and what grinds their gears. And because my brain capacity right now is the size of a peanut, I'm just going to let you tell me one or a few things you're fanatical about and why.
Besides myself. Well, I gave you a list. I'll have to peruse
All
it.
right. Do you want me to give you
But
a prompt?
no, but several things. So I all music. I
Yeah.
would like to think that I am a music nerd,
Hmm.
at least older music. So from recorded music onward until probably the year 2000. I'm pretty good. I know most of that stuff. And
Yeah.
I like to seek out the weirdest and offbeat stuff now because I've heard all the hits. So there's music. I know a shit ton about the Muppets and classic animation and film history. Monty Python was my religion growing up. It's what made me want to do what I do. So I know everything there is to know about Monty Python. I went to England just to see them on their last little reunion they did in 2014.
That's cool.
And yeah, so those are the things I know most about and the things that I am fanatical about.
It's funny that I didn't mean to stereotype or typecast you, but you just kind of have the vibe that you like Monty Python. You just kind of
Well,
reminded me of the kids I knew that liked to Monty Python in high school.
I mean, I stole all their jokes. I mean,
Well, that's fine. They're dead.
if you they're not dead.
I know they're not.
Two of them are dead. But anybody who watches, who has seen Chickens in the Shadows and has seen the Chopin rock band, I mean, that is complete Monty Python ripoff for the most part. I was definitely trying to be them for that. So, yeah. So those are a few of my favorite things.
Yeah. And you touched on something we're going to get into in a little bit here, but I love unpopular opinions. And unlike fanatical things, I can think of an unpopular opinion right now, and that is flying is awful. Don't do it. And also, everyone, you had a couple of years to really figure out how a TSA pre-check and a check line works and what you can and can't bring on an airplane. I don't understand why I'm always stuck behind you at a gate. I want to go to my gate. I want to get a beverageino and I want to disassociate. And you haven't flown in the last 10 years, but today was the day you decided to fly. And I'm always stuck behind you. And you always have your shoes on. So my unpopular opinion is if you haven't flown since 9/11, don't. What's yours?
My unpopular opinion?
Oh yeah. Yours is funny though.
Well, I'll give you the one that I gave you in the intake form, and this is gonna lose all my fans and followers. But I'm really sick of Taste the Biscuit. I can't listen to it anymore.
They ruined it. You know what? TikTok, you didn't have a niche. You found a niche and you upset the man.
Well, no, it's like anything, you wouldn't want to, even if it was Kiss from a Rose by Seal, which is a great song, I wouldn't want to hear it every hour, every few minutes of my life. Well, maybe, but yeah, I mean, obviously I love the song. I love Toasters and Moves. I love the support that it's gotten.
Yeah.
But I just can't listen to it anymore. I don't want to hear any version of it anymore.
I'm responsible for the biscuit bunch and I'm sorry.
It's okay. No, this is a good problem to have.
Yeah, it's a good problem to have, but also like if you do get more famous than you already are, I don't even know how that would even be possible. If you do get more famous than you already are, you're gonna be like Rick Astley, where they're gonna be like, Rick, roll me. You're gonna be like,
well, I'm still the man. I'm still the chicken in the shadow because to anybody who doesn't do the most minimal amount of homework, it's a song written and performed by Toasters and Moose, who are a real band playing in a real, well, they were in a real thrift store, but like it's all some like thing that just existed out in the wild that was not
Yeah.
contrived whatsoever. So I'm sure there were some people who were very disappointed to know that they were just actors um, in a very coordinated film shoot for a bigger movie. So I have that. I don't have to, my face isn't on the shirt. Nobody wants that shirt.
I would buy a
So,
shirt with your face on it, to be
well, I
honest.
know you would, but besides you,
Well,
um, besides the crazed Biscuit fans,
yeah.
um, so the next project, I'm fucking starring in it, and that was my special fuck.
Woo.
You
Snap,
should
snap.
put the freeze frame of me saying that and the
Yep.
caption, the special fuck.
Yeah. I love
So
it. I love it. And actually, I do think you should do more stuff and put yourself out there a little bit more. I think it would be absolutely you've got the voice for voice acting in the sense of you remind me of your voice has so many like it just reminds me of so many different things. It's almost like John Mulaney a little bit. And like
John
deadpan.
Wayne.
John Mulaney, the comedian.
Oh, I prefer
Where
John Wayne.
yeah, are you from Northern California or did you just kind of end up there?
I'm from Stockton, California, which is technically Northern California, I guess, but that's more the Central Valley.
Woohoo.
It's the Arkansas of California, basically.
Yeah, it kind of is like Northern California and then like that middle and then like cool things. Oops.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay, yeah, California is not all created equal. People always like put California on a pedestal because they think everything's Palm Springs or LA or San Francisco or Napa Valley. And it's like, nah, it's mostly just like a bunch of strip malls and thrift stores that people perform in 25-year reunion shows. It's pretty cool.
yeah.
So I do have a question about Muppets. And I
Yes.
always like to ask this question. What Muppet would you be and why?
Well, I feel this is a lame answer, especially from somebody who claims to be a Muppet historian and fanatic. So my lame answer is Kermit the Frog. Because I mean, I feel like all the other Muppets, they have their thing that they do really well. You know, like Fozzie, he tells jokes, he's kind of vulnerable, insecure. Gonzo's a weirdo who's vulnerable, insecure, um, has a thing for chickens. Miss Piggy is a diva, you know. I mean, you could go on and on about all the different Muppets. Crazy Harry likes to blow things up, so forth.
Sorry,
Um,
I wasn't expecting that to happen.
so,
I
but
haven't had someone just casually mention Crazy Harry just out of nowhere.
yeah, and so I certainly there's probably a little bit of Crazy Harry in me,
Mhm.
but Kermit, he runs the show. You know, he wrangles all these weirdos together for the bigger, you know, Manhattan melodies, you know.
Yeah.
Um, so I feel like I associate myself closest to Kermit, even though you know he's not that interesting, but he's the one. And speaking of voices, I think my natural voice is not dissimilar to Jim Henson's natural voice,
Oh.
and I can easily kind of delve into like Kermit the Frog a little bit. You know, it's not that hard for me.
Okay, you got to
Um,
join Muppet TikTok then. You're not in the right TikTok band. You're stuck in your own
I'm
case of
not.
biscuit.
I
I love
know,
that.
and it's not my favorite work that I ever did, but it is a thing that I did. I made a movie called The Muppetless Movie right after Chickens in the Shadows, actually, where live actors play the Muppets. And I was Kermit the Frog, shaved
I
my
love
head
that.
for the role. Um, and we're all green. And yeah, so that's only a 3-minute movie that you can watch.
I
It
haven't
has
seen it and now I have to out of
it
morbid
it
curiosity.
it has a certain charm. If you like the DIY charm of Chickens in the Shadows, you'll enjoy the DIY charm of the Muppet movie, maybe.
I love it. Okay. This, you were not prepared for this one. Okay. You
All
can
right.
only sleep with one Muppet for the rest of your life. Just one. Who's it gonna
Oh,
be?
Janice. Janice.
Everyone else
She's
is shocked by this. They're like, I have to Google what's a Muppet. And you were just like, Janice, obviously.
oh, but I mean she's a hot like rock star.
Yeah.
I mean, if I swung both ways, anybody in the Electric Mayhem would be fun.
The
But
whole band, it's an orgy.
yeah, I mean, I'd put my hand up her for sure. Definitely.
Oh, this is rated.
I gotta turn the camera off. I'm thinking about it so
Oh
much.
my gosh. This is hilarious. So I love that question because I did find it on whoever you were on TikTok, you were funny, but I already had this question and I just think it's funnier to ask it rapid fire, especially for someone who is into Muppet lore and knows everything there is about puppetry and whatnot. Like yourself, you're like, Muppets, I know all about it. Most people I ask and they're like,
What's a Muppet?
Google it, BuzzFeed quiz. But for me, my answer was
let me
Ozzy.
guess. Let me guess. Oh, okay. Because he's funny.
But then no, he'll bring you. Well, my friend Mike Valdez, the comedian, says he'll bring you a pie, and he's got a scarf and nothing else. And I was like, and a little hat. But that's just because he reminded me of my husband. I don't like being smaller than my partner, and I like to feel secure. And Fozzie is kind. That was my kind answer. My husband's, of course, was Beaker, because he was like, there's no way that Beaker doesn't know more than Meeps in the bedroom. But then we're sitting on the couch, and my husband just turns to me and he's like, wait a second. Why have one Muppet when you can have two for the price of one?
Whoa.
Statler and Waldorf. At your service.
Oh, no. No.
They'd be like, oh, face.
No, I don't.
I'll be done when I'm dead.
I'm already self-conscious during sex. I don't need two old guys making fun of me during it.
I guess I think it'd just be funny to be Eiffel Towered by them, but also I think I'd be too mortified. But yeah, that was our we went ahead and changed our answer there. But if I'm thinking about it now, I don't know. A lot of my friends have said Kermit. They identify as Kermit, or they would be in a relationship with Kermit. And I'm like, Kermit would worship your feet. He really would. He'd be into some weird stuff because you want it. He's like, I'll try it.
Well, he is a frog.
I think Miss Piggy for sure, because Miss Piggy's technically created off of a drag queen, and being a pansexual person, I think she's pretty. And I think her diva attitude, we'd laugh a lot. And then we probably wouldn't even have sex. We'd probably just eat food. And we'd make our partners, Kermit, go get me like whatever. I'd be like, Scott, grapes. Because that's just the life I'm in. I don't know. Well, my answer changes on the daily.
The crazy ones are always good in bed. So
that is true.
Miss Piggy
allegedly
would be
I love that.
Pretty fun.
Well, my friend, thank you so much as we're coming down to the final part of this interview.
Final countdown.
Yeah. Please don't sue me. I don't have the rights to anything.
Yeah, you're gonna need the rights to that now.
Oh well, you can sue Anchor because this podcast is sponsored by Anchor.fm. So what would you like to promote? How can everyone get in contact with you and ask you and maybe make you even more famous than you already are? Where are you on the internet?
I am everywhere, basically. I'm on all the social networks. You can find me. I'm the most popular of the Vincent Gargiulos out there.
One of one.
No, there's a couple. But VincentGargiulo.com is me. You can learn more there. Probably most active on Instagram, but I'm I'm everywhere. I respond to you unless you're a freak.
Yeah.
And I have a band, Vincent Gargiulo National Park. Over the last year, we learned some new material and got a record probably coming out next month.
That's
And
exciting.
there's a new music video for it that's already done. I'm just waiting for the record to be fully done, and then it'll come out and I play a stripper. So
Ooh,
that's
spicy.
that's a little spicy.
Uh-oh,
And
rated X, explicit biscuits.
you don't see that much, but because the turtle ripped it off.
Yeah, that's true.
But that's coming out hopefully next month. And then I have some really big projects kind of waiting to do, because that's a big investment in my life. So, but we'll start small with a cool little album and music video coming soon your way.
Well, I love that. And if you're listening to this, you still don't know what Taste the Biscuit is, but you think, wow, that Vincent, he sure sounds cool. He really is.
Like a freak.
Yeah, and I want to hire him to do things for me. I don't know. I think you should reach out to him.
I mean, I do freelance video work.
Nice.
But you're gonna need at least a couple thousand for me. But
oh, that's okay. That's okay. Well, Vincent, I'm losing my voice, but this was a gosh darn delight, and I'm going to figure out how to help you in any way. And to the biscuits that are listening, I know that we are small, but we are mighty. So make it do the internet thing. Thank you so much. This has been Please Don't Kick Me Out, a podcast about imposter syndrome. Mahalo.